Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. I just want to come on today and talk about the subject of fear. I have a feeling this is going to start to get a bit inspired after a bit, but I wanted to really just discuss fear. I'm working with a lot of people at the moment in one-on-one classes, group classes, or quite big open sessions, and fear seems to be sort of consistent. In terms of what people are asking me. So I just want to address it in a wide way. Look, we all have fear. We all have fear when we work with spirit. Either you're afraid that spirit's not going to come through, that you're going to look like a fool, there's not going to be a link, the sitter's not going to take any of the information. We might have fear, and this is coming from your own healing journey, fear of being wrong, fear of being seen, fear of being heard. So it's really important to work on your own healing journey as you're working with spirit. I think you have to. I think the healing journey is a big part of spirit work because we are trying to create and provide the clearest and the purest vessel, us, for the spirit world and God to work through. So I think the healing journey is important. Also, in terms of fear, it might be religious beliefs that we're brought up with that in the back of your mind, you might think, oh, I don't want to be possessed. It's evil. I shouldn't be conjuring up the dead. I shouldn't be speaking with the dead, all these things. So you have to be honest with yourself where this fear comes from. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that thoughts are energy and the thoughts do create the reality. So I feel what we're doing when we go into any sort of spirit work, if you're going into it with even like a tiny, tiny bit of fear, you're starting to create this barrier that makes it difficult for the spirit world to get through and work with us fully. Like I said, everyone's fear is different, but it doesn't really matter. It's still the thought of fear creates this barrier, this block. Okay, so I'm just going to read this one passage from Silver Birch Speaks by Sylvia Barbanell. Silver Birch was the spirit guide to Maurice Barbanell, who spoke a lot in mediumship circles, usually at the home of Hanan Swefter in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. He died, I believe, in the early 80s. But I like this part. So this is Silver Birch speaking. Sorry, I can't read with my glasses anymore. Age is horrible. And he's addressing mediums. Okay, so this is what Silver Birch says about fear. There is never any need for people like yourself, a medium, speaking of Silver Birch, to be beset with fear, anxiety, or worry, or trepidation of any kind, because perfect faith, like perfect love, should cast out all fear. When people in your world begin to feel fear, then they send out a vibration which disturbs the atmosphere around them. And that disturbance makes it impossible for us to come to help. Spirit power to operate in your world must have a quiet, calm confidence where all fear is banished, where there is a radiance attuned to the harmony of the larger life, so that the soul knows that come what may, it will emerge unscathed. Okay, so I love that passage. I use it a lot. So what is he saying? He's basically saying there's no reason for us to be afraid. There's no reason for us to have fear. And if we do feel afraid or are fearful, what we're doing is we're creating this barrier. We're creating this mist, this block that makes it, I don't know if it's really impossible for the spirit world to work through these blocks, but it makes their job a lot harder. So in a way, when you're fearful of not doing a good job or being wrong or not having a successful mediumistic link, and you send that fear out, either consciously or subconsciously, you're sort of creating the problem that you're afraid of, because you're creating this block that makes it harder for the spirit world to work with us fully and easily. Okay, so, and I liked the last part of this because this is really quite wonderful. So that the soul knows, come what may, it will emerge unscathed. Okay, so what is that? That to me means, look, we're all living the human condition. We all are spirit. My spirit is inside of me, and this body, this meat car, is the instrument that my spirit uses to express itself in the physical realm with the help of the spirit world, my guides, God, etc., etc. But this is my vehicle, my body. My soul is protected. My spirit is protected. Okay. So, like I said, we're all living in the material world. So are there money issues sometimes? Absolutely. Are there health issues sometimes? Sure. Is there drama? Is there stress? Life is stressful. It is a stressful classroom here, but we're meant to learn from it. We're meant to spiritually progress through these trials and tribulations, through these challenges. And I believe all of these challenges are just opportunities to learn and to spiritually progress further, right? So, but at the end of the day, though we have all these things around us here as people living in the physical world, all these things that might unmoor you or throw you off your balance, it's normal. But my soul, my spirit will always be okay. Nobody and nothing can touch my spirit. There is nothing that can damage my spirit and dim my light, honestly, except me. Okay, by ignoring it, by not honoring it, by not listening to it, by not nurturing my spirit, I can dim my own light. But no one else can do that. You do it to yourself. Okay, so just remember that by however horrible a situation that you might be going through at the moment is, your spirit is always okay. Your spirit cannot die. You cannot damage perfect love, perfect light. And when we pass out of this physical realm and leave our physical body to, go into the ground or be cremated or whatever, that's okay. We don't need it anymore. But I return home to God in the spirit world. You cannot destroy energy. It just changes form. So just remember that nothing can damage your spirit except you, I feel. Okay. So that's what I really feel that Silver Birch is speaking about when he talks about there's no reason for us to be afraid. And if we are afraid, we create these barriers, these walls. What else can create these barriers? This mist that makes the spirit, the creative force of spirit, makes it more difficult for them to work with us fully. Like I said, fear for sure, doubt, self-doubt, lack of confidence, being anxious to the point where you can't work. Okay. All these things will start to short circuit this communion with the spirit world. Okay. So it's really easy to say, don't be afraid, don't get nervous. It's a process. You just have to really understand that your spirit is protected by God. Okay. And we all hold the spark of God within us, and just build your light, build your power, and you'll feel your energy and your spirit growing. But at the end of the day, you're always going to be okay. Now, if you're going into a mediumship reading or any sort of spirit work, and right away you start to, oh my God, I hope this is not bad, and I hope I do a good job, and I hope, just give that up. It really doesn't have anything to do with you. All you have to do is show up, be passive, and be receptive, and learn how to interpret the language of spirit, what they're communicating to you and through you. If you think too much, you're going to throw yourself right out of it. Okay. And like I said, thoughts are energy. So the more you can just go into this spirit work with a quiet sense of confidence and power, it all just flows better. And just try to start removing these blocks. Don't be afraid. What's the worst that could happen in a mediumship reading? You get it wrong. That's okay. You're supposed to get it wrong in the beginning. How else can you learn if you don't get things wrong? And I don't feel that getting a no is like the end of the world. It's not. I like getting no's. I actually prefer to get a few no's in a reading, because I know that I'm not interpreting something correctly. I'm not hearing something right, or seeing something, or feeling something, or knowing something. So it's sort of, it makes me have to work harder. And usually at the end, I'm like, oh, okay, you can't take that piece of evidence. Let me, my technique is I just hand it back to spirit, and I see what they do with it. And I ask them to help me understand what they're saying to me, or showing me, or having me feel. And then it comes back again. And if then the sitter says, oh, that I understand, I've learned something in that reading. And that's the point. It's all about learning. Take a no as an opportunity to learn. If you came out of the box getting things, or sorry, out of the gate, getting things 100% and doing 100% reading, first of all, no one's 100%. There's no such thing as 100% accurate medium. That doesn't exist. But if you just got everything right, what are you going to learn from that? And the point of this is to grow and also work through your own spirit and spiritually progress and spiritualize yourself, I feel, is also a big part of mediumship. It's not just about the sitter. It's not just about bringing through evidence or even healing. It's about building your own spirituality, spiritualizing yourself, okay? So think about that. Think about what you're bringing into a mediumship reading. And we all bring our own baggage. Believe me, I know. My baggage is always here. I keep thinking that I've healed through it, and then new baggage appears. And that's usually within a reaction. So if someone calls on you and says, okay, get up there and read, just think about, how are you reacting to this? Are you excited, as you should be? Okay. Are you nervous? Okay, I think it's okay to be a little nervous, because we all want to do a good job for spirit and for our sitters. So it's okay to be a little nervous, but if the nervousness really becomes anxiety and starts to shut you down, that you can't perform, then something you have to go back and sort of readdress in your own behavior and your own mind thought pattern, okay? Because if you get so nervous and you really shut down, then there's no point. But don't think, oh, I still get nervous, I shouldn't get nervous anymore. I always get a bit nervous when I work with spirit, especially when they're big groups. But I just call my guides closer, and I call the spirit world closer, and I just ask them to calm me, and they will. But all of these things, ask the spirit world to help you sort of heal through this fear, heal through these blocks, and find your faith. I don't believe faith is something that you can just acquire. I think faith is something that has to be ignited within you. We all have it, but sometimes it just gets a bit dim. So ask the spirit world and ask God to help you have faith, because faith is such a big part of this, where I always have faith in the spirit communicator, in the spirit world, and my spirit guides. I know that they're just going to bring through whatever they have to bring through. It has nothing to do with me. I don't want to get too involved in the reading. I just want to bring through the evidence, or bring through the healing or guidance or counsel, whatever my guides are telling me, or the spirit communicator or spirit control in terms of trance. But I don't like to get too involved, because the more involved I start to get, my mind starts to kick on. So I think a lot of the fear and a lot of the doubt that a lot of people are feeling at the moment is coming from your conscious mind. So you have to learn to just get out of the way and understand that being confident and having the faith that the spirit world and God do not make mistakes, and you've been chosen to be their ambassador here in the physical realm, and you're not going to mess up. God is never going to put you into a situation to embarrass you. Is there learning to be done? Of course there is, but that's okay. Are there new techniques you can discover? Absolutely. Might some of them not be for you? Of course, but that's okay. Just try everything, and you'll see the more you do it, the less fearful you are. And the more you practice, the more you work with spirit, the more confident you become. And the more confident you become, the easier it is to communicate with them. So it's like a circle. So you just keep going, keep moving, keep it moving, and just allow your spirit and the spirit world to help develop you. And just ask them to help you, and ask them to help you figure out why you're so fearful. You'll figure it out. You just have to sit with it. But yeah, so that's really the point of this video. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because my guide is popping in. Okay, so what I'm sort of being pushed to tell everybody is they're here to help us. Ask them to come and just be with you, even when you're just sitting on your own. Sit in the presence of spirits. Let us come and work with you and develop you within the quiet. When you're doing readings or even gallery style readings, ask them just to come. Ask your guide just to come and be with you. When my guide comes, I feel him sort of, his hands on the back of my neck, like in the center of my back. And I just feel his gentle support and push if I'm feeling a bit nervous or just, not a little unmoored in what I'm doing, which is normal. I'm human, and we all have issues we have to deal with. But I always just ask them, just come and be with me. And the minute I ask them to come and help me, I feel their support. I feel their love. So yeah, so my God is saying it again. Just ask us. Just sit in our presence, and you will feel our energy being siphoned to you from our love into your heart center through your mind, body, and spirit. Okay, so think about that. Think about the fear that you are feeling, or fearful thoughts. Think about, this is actually a hindrance to your development and to mediumship, because you are creating these walls, these blocks, this mist that makes it harder for them to work with you. And I find once you shine light on a problem, you'll start to solve it, and you'll start to move through it. Okay, so that was what I wanted to say today, and that's what my guide wanted to say. Now it makes sense to me. I wish everyone a lovely day, and I will see you all soon, I hope. Okay.